Welcome to Shredder Fanfic. Like, subscribe, and hype video. Join members to gain early access to new videos.
The main character, after dying in his previous life, he wakes up inside of Naruto. He and Madara decides to change the ninja world. How's he gonna change the ninja world?
Madara, let's change the world together. Summary. Do you want to dance? Madara Uchiha, the Asura of the ninja world, grabbed the neck of the person in front of him. It's uncertain whether we'll start dancing. Kiyoshi suppressed his fear and did not resist. I have the information you need here. Ban, let's make a deal. Madara Uchiha looked at the ordinary person in front of him with his Sharingan without any interest. The person had no chakra and didn't even deserve to die at his hands. Don't be so quick to refuse. Just based on my status as the third son of the daimyo of the Land of Fire, I will definitely be of help to you. Kiyoshi forced a smile. Would a mighty Asura of the ninja world fear an ordinary person like me? Snort. Let's see what you're up to. A year later, Madara Uchiha looked at the notebook in his hand and fell into deep thought. When was he tricked into becoming the village chief? Chapter 1. Encounter with Uchiha Madara. Do you want to dance? Upon hearing this, the 15-year-old boy named Kiyoshi Gen trembled. At this moment, the hand gripping his neck felt so hot, like a branding iron, deadly. If Madara had exerted even a little force, he probably would have died instantly. If he makes a wrong move next, all the efforts he has made since he was 4 years old will really be in vain. Rewind to 30 seconds ago. Kyu Gen, who had investigated the situation of Konoha village based on his own background, had been conducting various investigations around Konoha for more than a month in advance. Upon learning that Hashirama Senju had officially become Hokage, he stared at the rudimentary chakra sensor in his hand every day, and finally caught up with that man this morning. Upon seeing Uchiha Madara, who was wearing red armor and had a flaming fan on his back, Kyu Gen was so overjoyed that he forgot his composure and rushed straight towards him. As soon as he uttered the word, "Ban," Madara appeared in front of him in an instant. Before Kiyoshi could react, a hand as hard as iron gripped his neck and lifted him up. Relax. Relax. Kyu Gen struggled to control his wildly beating heart, and with a push of his hands on Madara's right hand, he was able to speak steadily with his feet off the ground. Uchiha Madara, I have the information you want. Let's make a deal. Ban looked calmly at the boy in front of him, inwardly scoffing. If he hadn't seen this person chasing straight towards him, he wouldn't have bothered with him at all. The Crimson Three-Tomo Sharingan was activated, but not a single trace of chakra was detected. It's obvious that this is just an ordinary person, not a ninja. I am the third son of the current daimyo of the Land of Fire. Seeing that Madara looked bored, Kyu Gen quickly introduced himself first. He went through all that trouble to get here alone, and spent a lot of time blocking the area around Konoha, all to take a gamble. He couldn't just leave without even finishing his sentence. A famous name. Madara Uchiha raised an eyebrow. The famous man's son came to see him. They're looking for him, not Hashirama. With a loosening of his grip, King Jingyuan fell to the ground. Say, what do you want with me? Madara Uchiha crossed his arms over his chest, his expression indifferent. At this time, he had just decided to break with Konoha village, but he already had that cold and arrogant demeanor that he would later adopt. Cough, cough. Kiyoshi took a deep breath and stood up. Step 1 successful. As long as the other party is willing to listen to him, he can always persuade them. His body, trembling with fear, slowly recovered, and Kyu Gen stood up straight, meeting Uchiha Madara's gaze with unwavering resolve. 4.9. Be nice. Those three Tom sharing an eyes are terrifying. Suppressing his distracting thoughts, Kiyoshi Gen focused his mind, and a semi-transparent game panel appeared in his field of vision. Name Uchiha Madara. Ability. Favorability 50. Only 50 points of favorability. Strangers should usually be around 60 when they first meet. Kiyoshi Gen inwardly grumbled, realizing that Madara was quite displeased with him. However, with his honed silver tongue and various trump cards he had prepared in advance, he would surely achieve his goal. My system panel appeared in my mind. There is one ability within the box in the ability panel. Lobbying. Your words are more likely to be convincing. This is a skill he has cultivated through years of dedicated practice in public speaking. Madara, I have information on the locations of all the tailed beasts. Madara Uchiha frowned immediately. Only then did he truly begin to examine the person before him. She has short black hair and a pretty face. He was only about 173 cm tall. Although he had no chakra, his body was obviously very energetic, and his pupils were very clear. Although I don't want to admit it, the boy's eyes really do look 3 or 4 parts similar to Hashirama's. How did this boy know his current goal? He had never told anyone. Moreover, he had only come up with this goal a minute ago. Interesting. Madara Uchiha felt a surge of curiosity. This ordinary person, who hadn't cultivated chakra and dared to approach him with only a katana, actually caught his attention. His reaction at this moment was probably exactly what the boy had expected. Interesting. For no apparent reason, Kiyoshi felt a chill run down his spine. Tell me, what kind of deal do you want? Madara Uchiha raised the corners of his mouth, his smile unusually eerie. Anyway, he had plenty of time, so it wouldn't hurt to see what this boy was up to. He's the Asura of the ninja world. Take me to my village. Kiyoshi Gen tried his best to keep his voice calm and composed, not becoming subservient because of Uchiha Madara's personality. I have my own territory within the land of fire. Page 2. If you take me back, I will give you information on the approximate locations of all the tailed beasts. That's it. Madara Uchiha immediately considered Kyo Gen's intentions. In other words, the boy wanted him to go to his territory village. The territory you were allocated. I have renounced my right to inherit the daimyo. Instead, he acquired a relatively remote territory in the land of fire and became its lord. Kiyoshi Gen added on his own initiative. Once we reach the village, if Mr. Ban is willing, we can proceed with a second transaction. The details of the transaction are also information you would like to know. Chinese letter. Madara Uchiha looked into Gen Kyo's eyes with a meaningful gaze. Humph. Kid, you know who I am, don't you? Sensing the sudden increase in pressure emanating from Madara Uchiha, Kyo Gen couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. No. We absolutely cannot lose in terms of momentum. For his goals to be achieved, his relationship with Madara Uchiha must be equal. Kiyoshi bit his tongue, and the pain calmed him down. He straightened his body and reaffirmed his gaze. What? You are the Asura of the ninja world. If I don't even have the resolve to die, I have no right to stand here, to stand before you. Unbeknownst to him, Kiyoshi Gen took a small step forward. Not bad. Madara Uchiha nodded inwardly. It is truly remarkable that someone of his age could speak with such firmness and strength under the oppressive aura of his killer instinct. They are more resilient in will than some of the younger people in the tribe. The next moment, my initial sense of relief turned to ice cold. Thinking of the clansmen he wanted to protect and their betrayal, Madara Uchiha felt no longer any admiration for them. Wipe. When Kyugen saw that Uchiha Madara's favorability towards him had dropped to 49, his heart sank. Did he say something wrong? The next second, his score returned to 50, and he breathed a sigh of relief. It is said that a woman's heart is like a needle at the bottom of the sea. In his opinion, Madara's mood was probably not much better. Very good. Madara Uchiha spoke first. This time, his expression was extremely cold. Then tell me your purpose. Kiyoshi felt a sudden jolt in his head. All that remained in his field of vision was a pair of rotating Sharingan eyes with 3 Tomo. Consciousness began to slowly sink. He fell under Madara Uchiha's Genjutsu. Chapter 2, On the Road. The Crimson Sharingan pulled Kyugen into an illusion. Illusions do not have the power to make people reveal the truth. However, the Sharingan's hypnotic eye ability, when used appropriately, can induce people to reveal their inner thoughts. For an ordinary person like Kyugen, who couldn't even refine chakra, Uchiha Madara could easily deceive his 5 senses. At this moment, Kyoshi-gen seemed to be in a dream, with a very pleasant voice guiding his consciousness. The pupils twitched rapidly beneath the closed eyelids. 6, 9. 3, 6, 1. 3, 5. Kyoshi-gen opened his mouth in a daze. Come find Uchiha Madara. Madara Uchiha frowned. Even when dealing with ordinary people, it's still very difficult to get them to accurately reveal the information you want using illusion magic alone. The reason for looking for Uchiha Madara. Kyoshi-gen frowned, his body swaying slightly. In order to expand our power and unify the world. Okay. He didn't hear wrong, did he? Madara Uchiha never expected to hear such an answer. He took another closer look at the boy in front of him. He's no older than 20, so he's definitely not a ninja. Under the influence of illusion, the words spoken subconsciously are unlikely to be lies. This person has a very pure will. He dares to risk certain death to find him. It doesn't sound like naive nonsense. Interesting. He actually heard such words from other people. Kyoshi-gen slowly regained consciousness and shook his head in confusion. Sorry, I haven't slept well for several days, and I feel quite tired. In order to successfully ambush Madara Uchiha, he dared not sleep much and had to check the chakra sensor every now and then. It's all right. Madara Uchiha looked down at Kyugen's expression and saw him reach for a small sphere on his belt. The cool touch invigorated Kyoshi-gen. He was under a spell. This small ball has no effect, but it will cause a slight temperature change after he is affected by the illusion. Fortunately, he had undergone illusion resistance training and wouldn't reveal the most important information. That kid noticed. Madara Uchiha easily observed the subtle changes in Kyugen's facial expressions. Mr. Band, Kyoshi-gen said cautiously. Would you be willing to accept my commission? Kid, you're in luck. For once, Madara Uchiha felt a surge of curiosity. His cold exterior made him appear quite arrogant. I'll take this commission. Tell me your location. Kyoshi-gen breathed a sigh of relief. Step 2 was successful. To successfully seduce this man, he must not make any mistakes, especially any thought of deception. Mr. Ban, this is a map. The circled area is the location of the territory. Located in the eastern part of the Land of Fire, bordering the Land of Hot Springs. Madara Uchiha took the map scroll, glanced at it, and determined the location. It is good. How quickly do you want to get there? Kiyoshi was taken aback. He had rehearsed the scene of his first confrontation with Madara in his mind many times, but he really didn't expect the other party to have such a question. Mr. Forehead Spot, please do whatever is convenient for you. Page 3. Upon hearing this, Madara Uchiha didn't waste any words and directly grabbed Kyugen by the back of his collar with one hand. Swish! Madara Uchiha leaped onto a tree and ran forward at an extremely fast speed. Because of the excessive speed, Kyoshi-gen felt as if he was floating, and he was in a state of weightlessness. Yeah. That's so fast. That evening, Madara Uchiha found a cave that could shelter him from the wind and rain, and put Kyo-gen down there. Without saying much, he chopped wood and started a fire in one smooth motion. Having promised to escort Kyo-gen to the village, Madara Uchiha naturally wouldn't go back on his word. As the flames rose, the icy body finally felt warm. Kiyoshi was very fortunate that he was in good health and would not catch a cold. At this moment, Madara Uchiha took out some small black pills from his pocket. These were soldier rations meant to stave off hunger. That Mr. Ban. Okay. Madara Uchiha turned to look at Gen Kia. Although it wasn't quite night yet, under the firelight, Madara Uchiha's face, with its long, flowing hair, still looked sinister and terrifying. I have prepared some special dry rations. It will taste better after heating it up. After saying that, without asking Madara if he wanted it, Kyugen began preparing on his own. A small flat pan, small pieces of refined jerky, and some not-so-fresh scallions bought in Konoha village. He took out a small bottle of sesame oil, put a dot on a small pot no bigger than the palm of his hand, and then, using the long handle, took the pot containing the dried meat to the fire to roast it. Soon, the small pieces of jerky that were making a soft, sizzling sound were sprinkled with chopped green onions, and the aroma was irresistible. So, what's in that backpack? Madara Uchiha glanced at Gen Kyu's backpack and noticed many inexplicable gadgets inside. The boy was carried by him, suspended in midair, and blown by strong winds for most of the day without uttering a sound. I thought he was a resolute person, but now it seems he quite enjoys life. Is he the third son of the daimyo? They actually dared to abandon the prosperity of the great city. Mr. Ban, please have a taste. Kiyoshi handed over a pair of wiped chopsticks, his eyes clear. Madara Uchiha glanced at him, took the chopsticks, picked up a small piece of savory meat, and put it in his mouth. This is. His eyes widened involuntarily. It's not just the deliciousness of the meat. Just by swallowing it, his stomach felt a burning heat. This one piece of meat is equivalent to the effect of several, no, more than a dozen military ration pills. If it could replace the soldiers' ration pills, the supply problem for ninjas on the battlefield would be greatly improved. What are these meat chunks? How is it? It's delicious, isn't it? Kiyoshi-gen laughed. He finally saw Madara's surprised expression. These meat chunks are one of his trump cards. The processed meat, both in terms of raw materials and processing methods, is a secret. It's only available in my village. That's really impressive. But it's of no use to a powerhouse of his caliber. Madara Uchiha inexplicably thought of his Uchiha clan members again, and his mood became even more depressed. Favorability -1. Wipe. Kiyoshi's heart skipped a beat again. Why is my favorability rating decreasing a little? It wasn't until 3 seconds later, when the favorability rating returned to 50, that Kiyoshi-gen wasn't so nervous anymore. He dares to swear. Madara is currently the only man he cares about so much that even when he is treated coldly, he still wants to show him concern and care at all times. You've eaten such delicious meat. It's ridiculous that the favorability rating hasn't increased at all. Screw his strategy. How can his elaborate deception possibly succeed? Isn't Madara only in his 30s now? He probably wasn't so cold-blooded when he first left the village, and he wouldn't give her any chance at all, right? Is it because he became estranged from Hashirama Senju that he changed so much? What's your name? His dark eyes looked over. This time, Madara Uchiha's expression showed a hint of melancholy. The firelight illuminated their faces, and Kiyoshi Gen tried to speak to the other person in a calm manner. King Jingyuan. Ban paused for a second, then asked directly, "What brings you to me?" Chapter 3, Hatsuri Village. Coming. King Jingyuan remained calm and composed. He had already guessed this problem. There are many purposes. The most important thing is to establish a cooperative relationship with Mr. Ban and expand my territory. Madara Uchiha's expression did not change. You know me, right? No. Kiyoshi Gen said firmly. Since being reincarnated into this Naruto world, and knowing the story before Naruto became Hokage, he had been preparing since childhood. How could he not pay attention to Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha, who stood at the top of the ninja world? He came to Konoha village alone. Wasn't it to take the most important step in his plan? He even risked his life. I have studied both Mr. Hashirama and Mr. Madara in detail. Mr. Madara's help is necessary to achieve my goal. Aims. Madara Uchiha remembered his initial goal. End this chaotic world. So, what was this young man's purpose in wanting to unify the ninja world? Mr. Ban. To truly understand someone, a simple conversation is not enough. Why not take a look at the village I built for yourself? When Madara saw Kiyu Gen's smile and eyes, he was stunned for a moment. That look in his eyes is so similar, so very similar. Moreover, they are full of confidence. I haven't seen anyone show this expression in front of him in a long time. Only the one friend who could stand behind him. His free left hand involuntarily clenched. Favorability +1. What? Page 4. Kiyoshi Gen, who had been keeping an eye on the other party's movements by keeping an eye on the character panel, was overjoyed. Has he finally gained Madara's approval at least a little? But why haven't you said anything for so long? Madara Uchiha simply closed his eyes and crossed his arms. He didn't even bother to put down the flaming fan behind him. Well, it seems Madara isn't planning on replying to him. Kiyoshi Gen was not discouraged. It would be strange if you could easily get along with Madara, who is the reincarnation of Indra. If you don't have enough patience, don't expect to win Madara over to your side. After quickly finishing the remaining meat pieces and tidying up, Kiyoshi took a blanket out of his backpack and covered himself with it. He's gotten used to sleeping outdoors. It took more than a week to get from the village to Konoha. I estimate that with Madara's speed, he can get there by tomorrow afternoon. Before going to sleep, Kyugen took a special look at Madara's appearance. The face hidden beneath that long hair appeared somewhat sinister. They faced each other, their backs to the cave walls, and the flames in front of them were about to go out. Given Madara's personality, if he agreed to escort me, he'll definitely protect me. I wonder when I'll be the one who can stand behind him. Thinking that Madara Uchiha's only 2 deaths were both caused by being stabbed in the back, Genkiya shook his head. Never mind, I'll just stand next to him. Slowly close your eyes. Having not slept well for many days, even with the system's assistance, he couldn't endure it any longer. 3 seconds later, Kiyoshi Gen fell asleep, and very soft snoring could be heard in the cave. At that moment, Madara Uchiha opened his eyes. She fell asleep so quickly. They had absolutely no sense of vigilance, as if they trusted him to protect their safety. Perhaps it was because he was the third son of a daimyo that he was used to it. Madara Uchiha was somewhat hesitant to believe his own guess. The boy in front of him seemed to have a strange kind of trust in him. This trust. He shook his head, erasing the two faces from his mind. Heartfelt trust. Hashirama, you're too naive. The next morning, Kiyoshi was woken up. Then she was once again lifted by the back of her collar and flung between the tree branches. If they reach an open area, Madara will immediately increase his speed. The speed was so fast that King Jingyuan's feet could not even touch the ground. In response, Kiyoshi Gen said he would definitely have to get used to it. With his boundless energy, Madara probably wouldn't get tired even after running around all day. After all, they were people who could fight Hashirama at a high intensity for 3 days and 3 nights. Carrying just him, I doubt anyone would even feel anything. Finally, just before dusk, the two arrived at their destination. With a thud, Kiyoshi Gen steadied himself and stood on the ground. Madara was much gentler this time. He was still happy that his own backside wouldn't suffer. They were on the edge of a forest, and a wide grassland lay just ahead. Madara Uchiha's eyes suddenly turned into Scarlet Three-Tomo Sharingan, directly catching the figure darting through the bushes. This is Mr. Ban. Once you arrive here, you will find a reconnaissance guard that I have arranged. Gen also caught a glimpse of the fleeting shadow and explained to Uchiha Madara with a smile. I have ninjas in the village whom I support, so basic safety can be guaranteed. Aye. Madara Uchiha simply hummed in agreement. This guard is quite interesting. Is it a summoned beast? I'll trouble you to accompany me for a while, Mr. Ban. The payment will be given to me when I return to my residence. Seeing that Uchiha Madara didn't speak, Gen wasn't surprised and walked directly to the edge of the forest. Almost suddenly, the view opened up to a vast expanse of hills and grasslands. In the distance, there is a wooden wall that is 10 meters high. It is not very tall, but it is very long. The wooden walls enclosed the entire area of buildings, with only a few taller structures visible from the outside. Standing on a slightly higher hill and looking into the distance, you can vaguely see the sea. This area was specifically chosen by King Jingyuan after careful consideration, as it is suitable for port development and can serve as a transit point for economic exchange. The two walked on a wide, hard, cleared dirt road. The village gate is about 2 kilometers away. It takes quite a bit of time to walk. Fortunately, Bani didn't show any reaction. He just walked beside him, seemingly observing the village with his eyes. Kiyoshi Gen was already overwhelmed with emotion and couldn't help but smile from the bottom of his heart. This is a village that he built single-handedly over 6 years, leading his family, subordinates, and villagers. He was overjoyed to be back safe and sound. During the time he was walking, his family and subordinates must have been preparing. Him. They really brought Madara Uchiha here. With great excitement, Kiyoshi Gen walked the long road. Just as they were about to reach the gate, a large number of people rushed out from inside. Uniformed security personnel, with samurai swords at their waists and spears in their hands, stood on both sides of the wide road, heads held high and chests out, exuding an air of authority. At the same time, a man and a woman, both dressed smartly, stood at the front, looking at Kyugen and Uchiha Madara. When Kyugen and Uchiha Madara were only 100 meters away from the gate, the crowd shouted, "Welcome, Lord Gen. Lord Madara, to our Hatsuhi village." Wow, that's impressive. Kiyoshi Gen hadn't instructed them to do this, But how could he not be happy to see such a scene? He needs to demonstrate his strength in front of Madara before he can have an equal dialogue with him. Uncle Yi, Sister Lan, thank you for your hard work. Kiyoshi Gen greeted the two approaching people with a bright, sunny smile. A man with scars on his face, a kind expression, wearing a long robe and with graying hair. The other person was a beautiful woman dressed as a ninja in fishnet stockings, looking at Kyo Gen, whom she hadn't seen in a long time, with fond eyes. One of the two was named Isley, and the other was named Lan. Both of them were friends and subordinates that Kyo Gen recruited through luck and eloquence before he became a famous master. Tune in. Madara Uchiha judged the approximate strength of the two based on his experience. His combat strength is estimated to be above that of a Chunin. It's not bad for a small village. Zyro Yuan, welcome home. Lan stepped forward and couldn't help but reach out and pat Kyo Gen's head. Then he and Isri bowed to Uchiha Madara at the same time. Welcome, Lord Ban, to Churai village. Please come in. Chapter 4, A Vibrant Village. Yuan, when would you let Miki-sama know you're back? As soon as Lan entered the village, she inquired about King Jingyuan. I'll go tell my mother myself. Kiyoshi Gen hesitated for a moment. Miki is his mother, and one of the concubines of the current daimyo of the Land of Fire. Page 5. Since he was appointed as the lord of this place, he has followed and wanted to help him. However, because his mother in this second life doted on him so much, he didn't dare to tell her the truth when he did some adventurous things. For example, this time I went to see Madara. He lied about going to the Land of Fire to trade, which is how he avoided being questioned by his mother. Fortunately, it was successful, so she doesn't need to worry anymore. Mr. Ban, let's go to the master's mansion now. I will give you the payment once we get there. Madara Uchiha nodded indifferently while observing the situation in the village. The streets were spotless, lined with various wooden and stone buildings and covered with greenery. The residents walking back and forth were in high spirits, and the whole village had a vibrant atmosphere. Just like Konoha. Madara Uchiha clenched his fist slightly. Why is he thinking of Konoha again? Brother Yuan. Just then, a large group of children ran over playing and happily greeted the group of Kyo Gen, Uchiha Madara, Isri, and ran as they passed by. Kiyoshi Gen happily returned the smiles to the boys and girls. They are the future force of Churi village. Ah, is this slightly fierce-looking older brother someone Yuan invited? One of the lively little girls ran up and stared unabashedly at Madara Uchiha's face beneath his thick hair. Yes, this is Uchiha Madara, a ninja who stands at the pinnacle. Kiyoshi Gen answered with a smile. Oh, I see. The little girl fidgeted and hesitated before taking out a small candy. Since it was Yuan Jij who invited him, this big brother must be very powerful. Thank you for helping us. The next second, a group of children took out candy and handed it to Uchiha Madara. Okay. Madara Uchiha was stunned for a moment. Aren't these children afraid of him? In Konoha, no child dared to get close to him. Mr. Ban, please accept their candy. Kijen smiled and looked at Uchiha Madara. At the same time, Lan quietly reached out to Uchiha Madara's right hand. Ban instinctively caught it and grasped it in his palm. Based on the feel, it seemed to be a bag of chunks of meat. Big brother, please accept this. Brother Yuan has always taught us to share. And you'll definitely give us a gift in return, won't you? At this moment, the children all gave each other knowing smiles. What an innocent child. Madara Uchiha suddenly found it somewhat amusing, and a slight smile involuntarily appeared on his lips. Then these are for you. After saying that, he handed the small bag to the little girl. The little girl opened it and saw that it was the meat chunks that Kyugen had given to Uchiha Madara. Ah, it's my favorite little meat chunks. The children erupted in cheers and bowed in gratitude. Brother Ban, thank you. Let's go. Let's split it together. After expressing their gratitude, the children eagerly bypassed Madara Uchiha and ran behind him, disappearing into other alleys. It's a really strange feeling. Madara Uchiha involuntarily looked in the direction they had left, still holding several candies in his left hand. Although these children had planned this all along, they genuinely didn't seem afraid of him, and their thanks were sincere. Mr. Ban, these candies are given to these children by the school. It tastes great, give it a try. Madara Uchiha looked at the candies wrapped in paper, unwrapped one, and tasted it. So sweet. Sure enough, only kids like these things. Ha 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 ha. Kyugen couldn't help but laugh when he saw the strange change in Uchiha Madara's expression. You can keep it if you don't like it. I'll give it to the children next time I see them. There are many children in our village. If you go to school, you won't be able to leave without bringing enough small gifts. No, he won't go to a place like that, because he doesn't like troublesome children. Madara Uchiha shook his head, but he felt a little happy inside. When he was on the streets of Konoha, he could only watch Hashirama interact and play with the children. But now he has that experience too. Interesting. Favorability +1. Plans are in place. Kyoshi-Gen inwardly cheered. As expected, Madara, who wasn't betrayed by Hashirama, hadn't completely shut down his emotions. Using children to lower his guard was the right thing to do. Well, even though he was also extorted by those kids, the outcome was good, so that's all that matters. Those meat pieces are very precious. Like Konoha, there is a wide street leading directly from the gate of Hatsuhi village to the residence of the Lord. It took the four of them more than 40 minutes to walk there. During this time, Madara Uchiha observed his surroundings, and his eyes softened when he saw many children playing and working. As long as these children don't bother him, he's still relatively pleasing to the eye. However, there seemed to be an unusually large number of children in this village. The main residence in Churi village is not large, but it is still quite substantial. Whether outside or inside the building, you can see guards and even children every few steps. Uncle Yi, Sister Lan, please stay outside for now. The two nodded and stood outside the office door. At this moment, Lan, who looked like a gentle older sister, reminded King Jingyuan. 0 yuan, the intelligence has been put in the drawer. Okay, I get it. Afterwards, Kyugen and Uchiha Madara entered a relatively spacious room. Mr. Ban, please have a seat. I'll look for where the intelligence is stored. After saying that, Kiyoshi walked towards the table where various documents were placed. Upon opening the cabinet, one immediately sees a scroll labeled Tailed Beast Information. Sister Lan is still so reliable in doing things. Found it. Kiyoshi first glanced at it and nodded. This is the approximate location of the 9-tailed beasts we have collected so far. The strongest of them, the 9 tails, resides in the land of lightning. The Kinkaku and Jinkaku of Kumagakure tried to capture the 9 tails a while ago, but failed. Madara Uchiha took the scroll and glanced at it quickly. He immediately set his sights on the 9 tails. Only the strongest tailed beast is qualified to become Madara Uchiha's summoning beast mount. I received the payment. Page 6. Madara Uchiha turned to leave. At this point, Kyoshi-Gen got straight to the point and tried to persuade him to stay. Mr. Ban, shall we make another deal? The reward this time is the historical documents of the Chakra progenitor, the goddess of the rabbit, and her 2 children, which were collected by the land of fire. One of her children was the progenitor of ninjas, the sage of 6 paths. Madara Uchiha turned his head and looked at Gen Kiyo with a probing gaze. This young man really came prepared. Kiyoshi took a deep breath and said confidently, "It also contains content related to the Uchiha and Senju clans. What do you think, Mr. Ban?" Chapter 5, The Second Transaction. Kiyo-gen, of course, understood how attractive the information about the Sage of 6 Paths was to Uchiha Madara. Since the other party had not yet awakened the Rinnegan, they naturally had no way of knowing the records about Kaguya and her 2 children on the stone tablet at the Uchiha Naga shrine. When you look at the stone tablet with the Mangekyou sharing, and all you can see is 2 mutually repelling forces, which combine to form one, thus revealing the myriad phenomena of the universe, which is the method for activating the Rinnegan. It was from this moment that Madara Uchiha began to covet Hashirama Senju's body, wanting to sow his best friend's flesh and blood into his heart. Therefore, Madara Uchiha would definitely be interested in this deal. Given the other party's pride, as long as the deal he proposes isn't excessive, he certainly won't resort to murder, arson, or extortion. What conditions? Perhaps because the first transaction with Kiyo-gen went smoothly, Uchiha Madara did not refuse to listen to his request this time. Mr. Ban, you can obtain this information by staying in Hatsuhi village for half a month. During this period, we will cover all your food, clothing, and accommodation expenses. Live. Madara Uchiha watched Kiyo-gen with great interest. The other party's purpose was obvious. They wanted him to stay and try to recruit him. Half a month isn't long. Besides capturing the 9 tails and forcibly signing a summoning contract, he also needed some time to prepare for the future battle with Hashirama. It is good. Ban's indifferent gaze met Yuan's confident one. There are no restrictions, right? King Jing Yuan nodded. Yes, as long as you don't harm the villagers, you can go anywhere. Mr. Ban, you can decide what to do yourself. Kiyo-gen never expected to be able to recruit Uchiha Madara in a short period of time. As long as the other party has a good impression of Churi village and is willing to live here for a long time, his plan will be successful. To achieve this, complete trust is fundamental. Besides, if Madara wants to do something, his little village can't resist. He dared to let Banai come to the village because he was betting that Banai wouldn't kill ordinary people without reason. If Madara would actually do that, he wouldn't be Madara. It is precisely because he unhesitatingly upholds the justice in his heart that he is Madara, although the process of achieving it was quite obsessive. Mr. Ban, then let's do it this way. I still have some official business to attend to. Someone else will take you to your nearby residence first. There will also be someone to introduce you to everything in Churi village. The next second, Kiyoshi shouted loudly, "Zairo Ari." 2. A lively girl's voice drifted into the room. Ah. The office door was flung open, and a cute girl wearing a pink Japanese yukata ran in. Clang, 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 clang. Brother Yuan, your cutest little sister is here. She has short pink hair tied in white braids, a playful and lively smile, and a petite and adorable figure. Kiyo-gen's 7-year-old adopted sister has arrived. Madara Uchiha's expression froze. No way, no way. Why was he greeted by a child who looked like he was going to cause a lot of trouble? Madara Uchiha was not good at dealing with children. He once accidentally made his little cousin cry, and all he wanted to do at that moment was to escape the scene. Kids are such a hassle. If something troublesome happens, would Madara Uchiha, the mighty Asura of the ninja world, really stoop to the level of a little girl? With this in mind, Madara Uchiha made a silent decision. If anything unexpected happens, he will definitely use the instantaneous movement technique to escape immediately. Is there anything Zyro Ari's beloved Yuanjij, brother Yuan, wants her to do? Kiyoari blinked her big eyes and looked at Kyujen with an expectant gaze. Yes, I have something very important to ask you. Kiyoshi Gen answered with a smile. Despite his young age, his adopted sister is responsible for the logistics of the Mingzhu mansion, along with her mother, Miki. Of course, there were also several other younger sisters who helped. The main problem was that these girls were too enthusiastic, so he had no choice but to find them some tasks to do. Mr. Ban Zyro Ari is my younger sister. She is very familiar with Chu Rai village. Let her take you to the guest room and introduce you to Chu Rai village. The next second, Kiyoari immediately looked over and stared at Uchiha Madara with enthusiastic eyes. Don't look at him like that. Madara Uchiha had a cold expression, but in reality, he was very uncomfortable. Can we change players? Uncle Ban, do you dislike Zyro Ari? Kiyoari walked up to Uchiha Madara and stared at him with her big, watery eyes. Don't do that. Madara Uchiha suddenly felt incredibly overwhelmed. Having no experience in this area and no way to resolve the issue with force, he could only keep a straight face. Or should we teleport away right now? Mr. Ban. Kiyoshi Gen smiled wryly. Zyro Ari is just a bit lively, but she is very sensible in her actions. Just treat her like any other adult. It's impossible. His eyes told him that the little girl was definitely no more than 10 years old. If Hashirama were here, he'd probably be laughing at him for being nervous in front of a little girl. Zyro Ari, please. Kiyoari's expression changed rapidly, instantly becoming gentle and considerate. Lord Madara, please follow me. Your room is inside the manor and has been prepared. Call. He can still accept that. Kiyoari, wearing a modified cherry blossom patterned yukata suitable for movement, walked in front, while Uchiha Madara followed behind. However, he deliberately kept a distance of 2 meters from Kiyo. After the door closed, Kiyoshi slumped into a chair and let out a sigh of relief. We need to make Madara develop a good impression of Hatsuhi village within half a month. We need to do a lot of preparation. Page 7. After saying that, he took a book out of the cabinet, looked at it carefully, and nodded. I'll give this gift to Madara tonight. This would also give me a reason to invite him to dinner. I've heard that Madara is a great cook. I wish I could try his cooking. Unfortunately, that's impossible in a short time. Currently, the only person who can regularly enjoy Madara's cooking is probably Hashirama Senju. Wu Tilda. Kiyu Gen mentally reaffirmed his trump card while carefully observing Uchiha Madara's system panel. After being reborn into the Naruto world, he obtained a system that wasn't particularly prominent. The system is called the Daimyo Development System. This system is one of the reasons why he didn't become a ninja. Although it has a system, it doesn't have anything particularly powerful. There is no marketplace for trading items, nor any function to quickly improve his strength. But this system allows him to observe the situation within his territory very intuitively. With a thought, all the data of Churi village appeared before Kiyoshi Gen's eyes. Just like playing a game, he can understand every detail of the territory with intuitive data. Economic situation, subordinate attributes, technical skills, etc. This feature does make it easier for him to plan his territory. After all, what is lacking and how should development proceed? These data can be analyzed to find out. In addition to the data panel, this system has other functions. The cultivation is naturally aimed at him, the lord of this territory. He was able to develop traits similar to those of a human being through training. For example, lobbying. This trait was something he developed through his past experiences of persuading business rivals and recruiting subordinates. Once a trait is acquired, it will not be lost, and its effectiveness will be amplified by the system, making it even more powerful. At the same time, this system also has a hidden function. Kiyoshi named it Infinite 7. As long as the people under his rule are happy, his body will be very healthy and his energy will be inexhaustible. Even if you stay up all night for 7 consecutive days without sleeping and work non-stop, your body will not be seriously harmed. Therefore, he never fell ill again after he acquired the land. But why did he feel such a deep sadness in his heart? These are all the functions of the system. In addition, after Kiyoshi Gen awakened the system at the age of 4, the system also gifted him a newbie gift pack. 3 talented statesmen and 2 powerful traits directly bestowed upon him by the system. He got to where he is today largely due to his own efforts, as well as the background and help of being the 3rd son of the daimyo of the Land of Fire. The system gave him the confidence to accumulate knowledge and experience before unleashing his full potential. Dong dong. Brother, can I come in? Kiyoshi Gen's contemplation was interrupted. Upon hearing that familiar voice, he immediately knew who had arrived. It's Zairo Huey. Come in. Chapter 6, My Sensible Sisters. As soon as the door opened, a little girl appeared who looked just like Princess Moonlight. She had long, bright silver hair that almost reached her shoulders. Her beautiful hair was tied into a ponytail with a pretty patterned silk ribbon, the end of which wrapped around her fair neck and rested on her slightly undulating chest. Her pale silver pupils seemed to shimmer with light, pure and elegant, like gemstones. Her soft, petite body was wrapped in a beautiful brocade dress, and she had a gentle and refined demeanor, like a young lady from a wealthy family. She's a real beauty. At this moment, the visitor's information was presented to Kiyoshi Gen in the form of a data panel. Name Kyo Megumi. Age 8 years old. Position, secretary assistant. Ability, all-rounder in domestic affairs. Affection level, 100 max. Loyalty, 100 maximum. The displayed data is not limited to what is shown above. There is also much more complex and detailed information that helps Kiyuki gain a comprehensive understanding of the other party. The system panel itself allows him to know most of the information about his subordinates in the same faction. In addition, one of the 2 traits given by his newbie gift pack is called Ability to Recognize People, which greatly enhances Kiyoshi Gen's ability to recognize people. King Jingyuan's ability to recognize talent is one of the reasons why Churi Village has produced so many outstanding individuals. Zairo Hui, did anything happen in the village when I left? Kiyoshi asked instinctively. Because before leaving the village to find Madara, he entrusted all matters to Kyo Megumi. Brother, everything is going well. Kyo Megumi hesitated, tiptoeing slightly, her eyes darting around, her silver hair swaying gently. I came to see you. We haven't seen each other for 42 days. This girl remembers it so clearly. Kiyoshi felt a warm feeling in his heart. This younger sister was well worth the effort. Thank you to the system for sending me such a beautiful, thoughtful, and incredibly capable younger sister. Since he was determined to follow the path of the first emperor and unify the Naruto world, he naturally needed to recruit all kinds of talents. In addition to befriending strong individuals like Isley and Lan, Kyogen also adopted many orphans as potential future leaders. This is why more than a third of the people in Churi village are children under 10 years old. Kyo Megumi and Kyo Ari were both war orphans. Kyo Megumi is an unparalleled genius with full talent in internal affairs, found by Kyogen under the guidance of the system. He has an exceptionally strong learning ability and mastered all the knowledge taught by Kyoshi-gen in just over 2 years. Therefore, Kyo Megumi became Kyogen's secretary, assisting him in his work, and she did an excellent job. When he left for Konoha this time, he entrusted all the political affairs to her without worry. Kyogen was very glad that, in order to quickly increase Kyo Megumi's favorability and loyalty, he had given her the same surname and recognized her as his adopted sister. The two are now very close, and Kyo Megumi has lived up to his expectations, helping him a lot in many matters, and has become his indispensable right-hand man. As a result, he later took in Kyo Ari and others as his younger sisters. However, because they had collected too much, they never did it again. You asked if I have a sworn brother. Of course not. Taking in younger sisters is Kyo-gen's hobby. Taking in a younger brother is different. I'm sorry to have worried you. Kyo-gen walked around the table to Kyo Megumi and reached out to touch his little sister's head. Kyo Megumi laughed happily and hugged Kyo-gen shyly. She really misses her brother. Before she was 2 years old, the two of them had been inseparable, and there was almost never a day when they would not see each other. But this time, they were separated for a full 42 days. These days she's so anxious she can't eat. She's terrified she'll never see her brother again. She only breathed a sigh of relief after hearing Aisha's report 10 minutes ago that her brother was safe and sound. Seeing his younger sister clinging to him tightly, Kyo-gen smiled wryly. When they adopted Zairohi, they used some tricks to quickly build a close relationship. It was a success, but it had some side effects. Because of their close relationship, this sister, who is exceptionally talented in domestic affairs, loses her usual composure when it comes to matters concerning his safety. Okay, tell me about what's been happening lately. I'm going to visit Ban tonight. Page 8. By the way, does Mom know I'm back? Kyo Megumi first stood on tiptoe, pressed her face against her brother's chest, and took a deep breath, savoring the familiar scent. Then she looked up at her brother and shook her head in denial. Mom doesn't know yet. She's been mentioning your name a lot lately. Well, his mother is still the same as always. Let's skip the first step and go straight home. We'll talk about serious matters when we get back. Having such a caring mother, he didn't want her to worry all the time. Meanwhile, Uchiha Madara, led by Kyo Ari, arrived at a small villa. Not only is the house large, but there is also a lush pine tree in the courtyard, making it comparable to the residence of Uchiha Madara, the clan leader in Konoha. Lord Ban, please wait a moment while I ask my sisters if they have finished cleaning. Sisters. Madara Uchiha's eyelids twitched violently. Are there still several little girls inside? One is enough. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Is the cleaning finished? Kyo Ari shouted at the house, and 4 little girls wearing comfortable yukatas immediately jumped out. The 4 people's clothes correspond to the changing seasons: beautiful green, lively yellow, tranquil orange, and elegant white. They carried different cleaning tools, their clean, bare feet clad in slightly damp wooden clogs, looking adorable and beautiful. It really is. Madara Uchiha felt as if he were surrounded by powerful enemies. It's more troublesome than dealing with 4 pillars. Sister Zairo Ari, We have just finished making all the preparations. Kiyoharu answered in a sweet voice. These 4 6-year-old girls are efficient and quick in their work. Normally, the logistics of the master's mansion are handled by them and the 5 people, including Kiyoari. Of course, many adults also helped. However, the 5 of them consider this work their own responsibility, and it is difficult for others to get involved. I've put all the commonly used vegetables and meats in the refrigerator. Bedding and other daily necessities have all been put away. There are also miscellaneous books for entertainment on the bookshelf. All the preparations that could be made have been made. The 4 of them complemented each other's work, looking every bit like experienced housekeepers and maids. There's really no need for that. Madara Uchiha kept a straight face while inwardly complaining. He'll only be staying here for half a month, so a room is enough for him. However, he simply couldn't bring himself to say those words to 5 little girls who were much shorter than him. Lord Ban, please come in. Looking at Kiyoari, who seemed to be planning to follow him in later, Uchiha Madara felt a bit of a stomachache. He wanted to be alone, in peace and quiet. Chapter 7, The Book of Secrets. Ban's desire to be alone was not fulfilled. Although the 4 little girls, spring, summer, autumn and winter, have left, Kiyoari is following her older brother's instructions and plans to take good care of Uchiha Madara during this time. So, Lord Ban, it's getting late. Would you like me to prepare dinner for you? The sky outside was already covered with the golden glow of the setting sun. It was indeed dinner time. Sitting cross-legged in the living room, with the flame fan still on his back, Madara Uchiha raised an eyebrow and refused. No, no need. I have soldiers' rations. Kiyoari puffed out her cheeks and pretended to be angry as she put her hands on her hips and said, "This won't do. Soldiers' rations are dry and astringent. They can't compare to homemade meals. Lord Ban, are you the kind of man who hates trouble and lives a life of mediocrity because you don't have a wife?" Hiss Tilda. Madara Uchiha secretly observed the little girl who was quite close to him and seemed very familiar with him. It's not that he can't cook. Hashirama often comes to his house to freeload meals. Whatever. Madara Uchiha's tone conveyed a sense of exasperation. Okay. Leave it to me. Kiyoari laughed and jumped up. Her little feet, wrapped in delicate white silk, bounced along with her small skirt. I prepare most of the meals at home. My brother loves my cooking the most. After saying that, the little girl picked up a small stool and ran into the kitchen. For someone who is only 1.45 meters tall, the stove is still a bit too high. Soon, the sounds of chopping vegetables and a little girl humming a beautiful song came from the kitchen. Too weird. Madara Uchiha couldn't understand why things had developed this way. I just left Konoha yesterday, leaving behind the home that only Hashirama would often visit. As a result, this afternoon a very outgoing little girl, whom he wasn't good at dealing with, was busy in the kitchen preparing dinner for him. Usually, it was Hashirama who was waiting in the living room. Now, he's actually experiencing that feeling himself. After hesitating for a moment, Madara Uchiha untied the Uchiha flame fan from his back and placed it in the corner of the room. These next 2 weeks will probably be quite lively. He realized that the young man would probably use many unexpected methods to recruit him. Although Madara Uchiha understood Kyugen's purpose, he did not reject the other party's actions. This young man was indeed well prepared and had thoroughly researched him. What's wrong with playing along with him? About half an hour later, Madara Uchiha heard footsteps. Someone is walking this way. There are 3 people. The small door to the courtyard creaked open, and King Jingyuan's voice came through. Mr. Ban, I have come to visit you on business. It's him. Madara Uchiha closed his eyes again. He'd like to see what tricks this boy had up his sleeve this time. The wooden door between the living room and the detached house was opened. When Ban looked up, he saw Kyugen, who had changed into a dark blue men's yukata. His demeanor has changed significantly, giving him a mature and composed air. But that face still looked too young and too handsome. Two women, one older and one younger, stood on either side of King Jingyuan. One of them was clearly a little girl with unusually silver hair. The other was a stunningly beautiful adult woman. Her long, beautiful black hair cascaded down like a waterfall, and her eyes were as delicate as the night sky. Even when wearing a gorgeous kimono, her full and sexy figure is still visible. Her feminine charm was on full display. Page 9. Of course, no matter how beautiful she is, in Madara's eyes, she is no different from an ordinary person. Mr. Ban, thank you for taking care of my child the other day. The elegant noblewoman's beautiful red lips parted slightly as she bowed gently to express her gratitude. This person is none other than Kyugen's mother, Miki. She was also a geisha, whose beauty was once renowned throughout the land of fire. The daimyo's wife. Madara Uchiha was somewhat surprised and stood up without much hesitation. Please have a seat. Madara Uchiha also knew how to treat guests, even though this is not actually his residence. Miki, Kyugen, and Kiyomegumi all knelt down on one side of the long, low table facing Uchiha Madara. I heard from Zairoyuan that he was able to return safely from his business trip to Konoha thanks to Mr. Madara's protection. This visit is to express my gratitude to you, sir. Miki took a small package out of her large sleeve and placed it on the table. Zairo Yuan said that he had not yet paid the gentleman, but he would give him the 200,000 taels of silver notes inside. Just then, Madara Uchiha saw Kyugen winking at him and mouthing something about helping him cover up his lie. Thank you very much. You can never have too much money. Seeing that the other party accepted it, Miki smiled happily. For her, the most important thing is her child. She is willing to pay any price to ensure her child's safety. At that moment, her soft right hand was holding Kiyoshi Gen's left hand. She missed her child terribly after not seeing him for so long. Cough, cough. Kiyoshi Gen took out a book he had prepared beforehand and placed it on the table. Mr. Ban, this is a small gift. Madara Uchiha looked down and saw the words secret technique on the book. This is a ninja secret technique that I developed. Ninjutsu that is completely different from that of the 5 great nations. Although it may not be of much use to the ninja world's Shura, it might broaden their thinking. Kiyoshi Gen smiled and handed over the book. The second trait given as a gift in the system's new player gift pack is called Ninja Expert. Even though he has never condensed chakra or practiced any ninjutsu, his ninjutsu theory is absolutely at the highest level in the ninja world. It's definitely comparable to Tobirama Senju. This. Madara Uchiha sensed Genkyu's confidence once again. Does the other party think these secret techniques would interest him? It won't hurt to take a look. So he accepted it as well. At that moment, Kiyoari suddenly appeared in the kitchen. Brother, mom, sister, you're here too. I just prepared dinner for Mr. Ban. After that, a rather sumptuous and incredibly delicious-looking fish dish was served. So big. Madara Uchiha dared to say that he had never seen a grilled fish that was a full meter long. The golden sauce and scallion oil are drizzled on top. The enticing aroma whetted his appetite. Hum hum. Zairo eyes secret fish dishes. This is a secret recipe I learned from my master. Madara Uchiha admitted that the large fish meat in front of him, which seemed to have no bones at all, tasted better than the soldiers' rations. Lord Ban, please eat first. Remember to put it in the kitchen after you finish eating. Zyro Ari will come tomorrow morning to clean up the dishes for Lord Ban, who has no wife. After saying that, Kiyoari hugged Kyujen from behind, looking very happy. Brother, let's go back. Zyrochan and the others must be ready already. We haven't eaten together in a while. Kyoshi Gen smiled wryly. He couldn't refuse because he was spoiled by his mother and sisters. Left with no other choice, Kyoshi Gen had to say goodbye to Madara. Anyway, the other party has agreed. It's fine to start communicating our feelings from tomorrow. Thus, only Uchiha Madara remained in the huge, detached villa. However, this is actually better for him. He prefers to be alone. After washing the plates, bowls, and chopsticks, Madara Uchiha went to the courtyard and looked up at the gentle moon. His unexpected encounter with Kyoshi Gen during this trip made his life much more interesting. I don't want to sleep yet. Let me take a look at the book of secret techniques they sent me first. Ban took out a brand new book and opened it to the first page. Chapter 8, Flowing Techniques, Sealing, and the Four Forms. Madara Uchiha opened the book of secret techniques, given to him by Gen Kia, and the opening chapter was a detailed explanation of the nature of chakra itself. For example, ninjas don't normally have chakra in their bodies. It's generated by converting physical strength when they use it. Ninjas must continuously generate and use chakra during battle in order to unleash jutsu. Of course, Madara isn't interested in this basic knowledge, so he'll skip it. The second chapter explains the 5 basic properties of chakra, as well as 2 special properties. Turn the page again. By this time, Madara had lost much of his hope for the secret technique mentioned above. Just as he turned to the third chapter, the words, flowing seal, caught his attention. Sealing technique. Madara Uchiha's first thought was of Hashirama's wife, Maito Uzumaki. The Uzumaki clan is famous for its sealing techniques, and he was familiar with their sealing techniques, but he had never heard of this flowing technique sealing before. Driven by a desire to pass the time and learn more about ninjutsu, Madara patiently read on. In ninja battles, the amount of chakra is crucial. Stronger physical strength means more chakra can be generated, resulting in greater endurance in combat and more powerful ninjutsu. This is fundamental. Madara Uchiha had a deep understanding of Hashirama Senju's inexhaustible stamina. Because the chakra created will be rapidly consumed, disappearing into the air even if not used. Therefore, most people improve their physical strength, which is essentially the amount of chakra they generate, through physical and mental training. The flowing technique sealing enhances a ninja's combat abilities by storing chakra. Story. The image of Maito Uzumaki flashed through Madara Uchiha's mind. The Uzumaki clan possesses a secret technique called Yin Seal. Excess chakra can be stored on the forehead, forming a diamond-shaped mark. By breaking the seal, a large amount of chakra is released during battle, enhancing combat capabilities. However, this sealing technique has stringent learning requirements, demanding extremely precise chakra control. Furthermore, the secret techniques of the Uzumaki clan are not easily revealed, so Madara currently knows that only Maito Uzumaki knows how to use the Yin Seal. Flowing Seal. Madara Uchiha frowned. These secret techniques were created by Kyoshi Gen. Could such a child really create a secret technique comparable to that of the Uzumaki clan? Page 10. Setting aside all other thoughts, Ban eagerly began to read carefully. This idea. Madara Uchiha gripped the book tightly, pondering the possibility of this sealing technique being realized. As he continued to flip down the page, he was truly amazed by the practical methods and usage described therein. The human body has 361 chakra points distributed along the meridian system. This technique, flowing seal, aims to construct special stargates on these acupoints using sealing techniques. The stargate can store a large amount of chakra and to some extent prevent chakra from dissipating from the body. Therefore, theoretically, 361 stargates can be constructed within the body. However, constructing a stargate takes a long time, and the difficulty increases significantly each time a new stargate is constructed. For an ordinary person, it typically takes 7 days to construct one stargate, half a month for the second, and a month for the third. With each additional item added, the time consumed almost doubles. While the construction of the stargate can be accelerated by generating a large amount of chakra, the amount of chakra an ordinary person has is not enough to speed it up much. Therefore, although this sealing technique is not very difficult, it requires time to accumulate and cannot improve the combat power of ordinary people in a short period of time. This secret technique was also classified as an A-level secret technique by Kiyoshi Gen. If the flowing technique seal only stores chakra, Madara Uchiha wouldn't be too surprised. According to the above statement, the 3 stargates can only store about 1/10 of their own chakra. That's not a lot. But the information above indicates that a stargate can be constructed in a special location, resonating with each other and creating a full-body resonance, thereby increasing chakra activity and enhancing the power of ninjutsu. Because chakra is always present in the body, it can even continuously activate cells with this chakra, achieving the effect of eternal youth. The 3 talents star array, the 5 elements, the 7 stars of the Big Dipper, and the 9 stars of the sun. It will take about 2.5 years to build the 7 stars aligned, and about 10 years to build the 9 stars shining like the sun. The 9 stars shining sun technique can store 3 times its own chakra, increasing its overall combat power by nearly 5 times. According to the above statement, as long as a sealing array is inscribed on the body, the stargate can automatically absorb chakra to form without needing to spend time condensing it. In other words, cultivating the flowing technique seal will not delay one's own cultivation time, but it will keep one in a state of continuous physical exertion. If it's true, Madara Uchiha saw his hope of defeating Hashirama. The method for constructing sealing arrays is also written in books, but special materials are needed for the best effect. It turned out to be the case. Is the intention to seduce him, and then use that to make demands? Madara Uchiha smiled and shook his head. The primary function of this flow seal is to store chakra. However, for people like him and Hashirama, who have great stamina and can fight for 3 days and 3 nights, the effect was not actually significant. If the conditions proposed by Kiyoshi Gen are not difficult to meet, then it is possible to make a deal with him. Then Madara Uchiha turned to the next chapter. 4 forms. What kind of secret technique is this? With the flowing technique sealing seal already in place, Madara Uchiha was somewhat looking forward to seeing what effects this secret technique would have. The training requirements state that one must possess the perineal chakra nature transformation and have strong chakra control. It is classified as a B-rank secret technique. The yin escape technique is indeed rare. The secret arts of the Nara and Yamanaka clans utilize the properties of yin. After careful reading, Madara Uchiha discovered that the so-called 4 forms of transformation was a secret technique that combined chakra form transformation with yin attribute nature transformation. It is divided into 4 types: rigid state, viscous state, ripple state, and hidden state. All four forms require chakra to be distributed throughout the body, and each has different special effects. Madara Uchiha scanned through all the content and then extended his left hand. The pale blue chakra formed the shape of a large sword. The falling leaves were sliced in two by the blade of the chakra sword. Consumption is average. It would be even more effective if used in conjunction with a weapon. The chakra surrounding his body changed again, forming rocks that resembled steel. Just by looking at it, you can tell it has extremely strong defensive capabilities. Rigid state, as the name suggests, is the process of giving chakra a physical form through changes in yin attribute properties, and then transforming it into things like swords and armor. The viscous state is the process of transforming chakra into a rubber-like substance that can absorb a large amount of impact-type damage. As for ripple state and hidden state, the above explanation refers to enhancing a ninja's perception and stealth abilities. Compared to the first two, which are more intuitive to demonstrate, the latter two are more difficult to achieve. It didn't seem to help much. Compared to the flowing technique seal, Madara Uchiha believed that the form transformation four forms had no special use. At least, it won't do much to improve his strength. He flipped through the back of the book again and found that it contained descriptions of everyday ninjutsu developed by Kyogen. Examples include D-rank ninjutsu such as boiler heating technique, water drawing technique, sound amplification technique, irrigation technique, and copying technique. Madara Uchiha lost interest after only a cursory glance. Overall, it was still worthwhile. Flowing technique seal and form transformation four forms provide a powerful boost to ordinary ninjas. Although B-rank ninjutsu is difficult to master, it can be used as a regular secret technique in the village. Suddenly, Madara Uchiha thought of Kyogen's ideal of unifying the world. These two secret techniques. Snort. This isn't just talk. Meanwhile, Kyogen, who was in his bedroom surrounded by his 6 younger sisters, suddenly noticed a change in Uchiha Madara's profile. Favorability 62. Madara's favorability rating has increased by such a large amount. He was right to give away the Book of Secrets. Zairoyuan, come and sleep with Mommy. On the oversized bed in the bedroom, Mickey, wearing only a thin gauze nightgown, gazes intently at her child. It's been a long time since I've held my son while he sleeps. I'm going to give him a good hug tonight. Kiyoshi smiled helplessly. Spoiled by his mother, he was never able to break free from sleeping with her. Perhaps this is one of the ways their family shows their affection. Brother, we want some too. All the lovely little sisters looked over. King Jingyuan's stomach started hurting again. Although their bed is specially made, it can fit 2 adults and 6 children. But please don't come over to freeload off my bed every time. He must be exhausted to wake up in the morning and find himself being hugged so tightly. But one mother said that before Kiyoshi got married, the whole family slept in one bedroom. If Kiyu Megumi, Kiyu Ari, and Haruha and Shuto grow up, that's a different story. At least for now, Kiyoshi Gen has to endure the pain of being used as a body pillow by his mother and sisters every day. Saitilda, it's really annoying to be covered in that sweet, feminine scent every morning. I wish it could be like this every day. That night, Kiyoshi Gen's mind was filled with deep guilt, and he drifted off to sleep, surrounded by his mother's gentle head pats and sweet fragrance. Chapter 9, Cat Paw Diner. Giggle, giggle. At dawn, the chickens raised in Churi village crowed. At this moment, Madara Uchiha had already begun his training in the courtyard. He was shirtless, upside down, supporting himself on the ground with only his right index finger. I heard that he learned this habit of taking off his shirt from Hashirama Senju. Uncle Ban. Page 11. Uncle. Why are you calling him uncle again? Without even looking, Madara knew which troublesome guy had come. At this moment, Kiyoari was wearing an adorable cherry blossom yukata, and her small feet, encased in white stockings and sandals, looked very pretty. She smiled brightly and said, Uncle Ban, come with me for a walk around the village. I'll take you to see some fun places. My brother told me to treat you well today. A small hand held a round fan painted with plum blossoms, gently covering her laughing face. Influenced by Mickey, all of Kyo-gen's younger sisters are eloquent and charming, winning the favor of the adults around them. Today, Arikyo came prepared. Want to take a stroll through the village? Madara Uchiha used his waist to jump up and land on the ground. He was somewhat interested in the village that the boy had established. It is good. Uncle Ban, you're so stern, you don't have your brother's charm at all. Tusk. Madara Uchiha turned his head away, clearly annoyed. What do little kids know? He was very popular with women in his tribe. Thinking of this, Ban's expression turned even uglier. Kiyoari keenly sensed the psychological changes in Uchiha Madara and recalled her brother Kyo-gen's description. According to her brother, Madara Uchiha was a person who desperately needed love, and now he had no close relatives, making him very pitiful. Madara felt the corner of his clothes being tugged and looked at Kiyoari beside him. Brother Ban, don't look so grumpy. He could be a handsome guy with just a little dressing up, but this gloomy face ruins it. If you smile often, you'll definitely have a lot of girls pursuing you. Amount. Does he, the Asura of the ninja world, really need to be comforted by a little girl? You mean it like this? For some reason, Madara Uchiha felt a sudden urge to play a trick on the other party. He threw his head back and started laughing wildly. He has the air of the leader of the four laughing Uchiha. Forehead. The arrogant laughter immediately attracted the attention of passers-by. Uncle Ban, your laughter will scare the children. Kiyoari made a disgusted expression. Hateful. For some reason, Madara Uchiha thought of Hashirama Senju's face, which often suddenly turned lost in thought. Now, he's starting to want to make that expression too. Of course, he was a ruthless ninja demon, so he wouldn't be like that idiot Hashirama. So, after his maniacal laughter ended, he seamlessly switched to a poker face. And it's even colder now. Well, Madara Nig-san. Kiyoari chose to forget the previous scene and looked up at him with a cute expression. There will always be times of disappointment in life. Only family and delicious food will never disappoint. The place we're going to next is a place that brings joy. Seeing Kiyoari make a gesture to encourage him, Madara unconsciously laughed. Could it be a restaurant? Hey, hey, hey. Kiyoari lowered her voice and said with a playful expression, That's where we're going. At that moment, they arrived at a crossroads. The little finger pointed to the huge building at the end of the road, with a very obvious pink cat paw sign in the center of the building. The place with the most delicious food in our Churi village. Cat Paw Canteen. Madara Uchiha turned his head to look at the long street, his eyes widening involuntarily. The long street here is much more lively, with many white cats wearing shirts and walking upright, running back and forth. It was as if they had suddenly arrived at a secret place. What are they? Madara Uchiha watched as the white cats talked to the surrounding residents, helped them carry things, and some even played with the children. Elucat, Kirai said in a very proud tone. Their clan has signed a contract with Brother Yuan and become our best helper and companion in Chu Rai village. Oh right, besides the white cat Elu, There's also the black cat Melalu who doesn't show up much. The Meralis are mostly responsible for covert guarding and intelligence gathering. So what he saw before entering the village was a black cat dressed as a ninja. Madara Uchiha found it somewhat unbelievable. This was the first time he had ever seen a race of spirit beasts so closely connected to human society. Let's go. Today we're going to visit Fenris, the head chef of Cat Paw Diner. He is the chieftain of the Alu tribe, my brother's contract partner, and also my cooking teacher. Seeing Kiyo Ari skipping and hopping forward, Uchiha Madara quickly followed. He didn't dislike the lively atmosphere here. It had a vitality different from that of Konoha. Here are today's orders, Meow Tilda. The villagers who received the takeout took out their land of fire coins and paid the white cat, which was only as tall as their thighs. Madara Uchiha looked around curiously. These palicos really get along well with humans, and they even seem to be able to speak human language. Uncle Ban, over here. At the entrance of the massive cat, paw-shaped canteen building, Kiyo Ari waved her arms and shouted at Uchiha Madara. Could you please set a consistent way of addressing him? Can't you stop calling him Uncle when you're unhappy with him? Madara Uchiha thought to himself, then quickly followed Kiyo into the cat paw cafeteria. There were many people inside, as well as many different kinds of small shops. Upon closer inspection, the shop manager and staff inside are all palicos with different fur patterns. Adults and children alike strolled around, eating as they went, enjoying a delicious breakfast. Not only are there small shops, but there are also huge shops that can accommodate hundreds of people. Many children and the palico took food from the windowsill, then sat together at the long table, eating and chatting. Our Churi village has always been well supplied thanks to the Wanshan Company and the Kaingonglu. Oh right, let me explain this. Wan Shanghang is a caravan that my brother personally built. It is also responsible for the exchange of goods in Chu Rai village, transporting goods from the 5 great nations back to the village and selling the village's specialties to the commercial organizations of the 5 great nations. Kain Gong Lu is responsible for all work scheduling in the village, including collection, construction, processing, and so on. In addition, there is the garrison headquarters responsible for the village's security and order, the war hall responsible for external combat, the research institute responsible for developing new technologies, the school responsible for teaching knowledge, and the hospital responsible for treating patients. The Cat Paw Canteen is the place responsible for processing food for the whole village, and it is basically run by the palicos. Villagers who don't want to cook come here to eat. You can also place an order and have it delivered to your home. The village was well managed by my brother. He handled all the affairs from top to bottom. Page 12. In just 6 years, it has developed from a small village into a large village. He is a name that our entire village is proud of. Arikiyo spoke with great pride. After all, he was a most beloved and proudest brother. Indeed. Madara Uchiha admitted in his heart that what he had seen so far already surpassed Konoha. That boy seemed to be very good at integrating the power at his disposal. Oh, right. Our village has 20,000 people, more than 1,000 Illucats, and more than 800 Melaran. This is no longer the size of a village. My brother said that the current construction is not enough. We are working hard to build Sunrise Village into Sunrise City, and there are still many technological breakthroughs to be made. This young man is indeed seriously considering unifying the world. However, without a sufficient number of ninjas, especially Jonin, it would be impossible to unify the ninja world. Moreover, with powerful figures like him and Hashirama, who were capable of single-handedly destroying the 5 great villages, unifying the ninja world was definitely impossible. That's why we need to recruit him. Madara Uchiha couldn't help but laugh. They have plans, the ability to execute them, and the courage to act. This young man is quite good. Kyu Gen, who was handling official business with his sister Kyu Megumi in the master's office, looked up and saw that Uchiha Madara's favorability rating had increased by 5 points on the panel. Zairo Ari, you are so amazing. You'll get an extra meal tonight. Chapter 10, Food and Guidance Battle. Uncle Yi, Sister Lan, you're here too. On the third floor of the Cat's Paw Diner, Madara Uchiha saw the man and woman who had greeted him and Genkie at the village entrance the day before. Zairo Ari. Wearing fishnet stockings and a ninja outfit, Lan looked at Kyo Ari with loving eyes and patted her little head. She liked all these children very much. Good morning, Lord Ban. Isri and Lan stood up at the same time and bowed slightly to Uchiha Madara. Madara Uchiha simply nodded in return, his gaze already fixed on a large palico in front of the enormous stove at the far end. This palico is about the same height as Arikiya, has a scar on its right eye, and carries a giant sword on its back. Its powerful muscles cannot be hidden even by its grey and white fur. The aura of a powerful being. Madara Uchiha was somewhat surprised. He actually sensed the aura of a battle-hardened expert in one of the summoned beasts. Hello. The cat, wearing a red headscarf, looked at Madara Uchiha. The gazes of the human and the cat collided in midair. Brother Ban, this is my culinary master, Fenris. Kiari jogged over and jumped over the tall stove. Hey. Hug. Fenris, covered in soft cat fur, was hugged. Zairo Ari, I still have oil on me. Meow. It's all right, Master loves fur the most. Fenris looked helpless and let the other person stroke his fur. What would you like to eat this time? Master, please prepare a meat dish, set meal for Uncle Ban. At this moment, Madara Uchiha also came to the stove, looking around at the open kitchen and the small, cat-like kitchen helpers around him. Your name is Uchiha Madara, right? You're someone that Genji values. Fenris looked at Madara Uchiha with sharp eyes, his expression quite serious. You are our guest, so naturally we will treat you to the finest cuisine. Prepare. Meow, X6. The 6 felines helping out in the kitchen raised their hands high, full of confidence. Kyo Ari also came out of the kitchen, not wanting to disturb them. Brother Ban, Master's cooking skills are much better than mine. He will definitely satisfy you. Thinking of the delicious food he had eaten yesterday, Madara Uchiha suddenly felt hungry. To be honest, he was very satisfied with the meal. Arikiyo's chef. Expectation. At this moment, middle-aged man Isley, who had just finished breakfast, and sexy older woman Lan also walked over. The cooking process is very interesting and worth watching. The palicos carrying the kitchen helpers brought out a huge, 1.5-meter long steak from the large stove behind them. Madara Uchiha swore that this was the first time he had ever seen such a large piece of meat. The next moment, Fenris drew his greatsword from his back and swiftly sliced the meat in front of him into several pieces. Madara Uchiha was curious when he saw the greatsword covered in wounds and with its tip broken. What kind of battlefield did this palico experience? Fenris used his greatsword as a spatula, flipping the steak over and over. The flames under the stove grew even stronger. This rather simple, rustic kitchen is perfect for this kind of bold and unrestrained cooking. Suddenly, Fenris reached out with his left hand and poured a large spoonful of oil directly onto the cooked pork chop. Flames erupted directly, engulfing the entire piece of meat. Call. Madara Uchiha was quite excited. He surprisingly wanted to try this cooking method, which is quite unusual for him. To cook oil over a raging fire. A rich aroma wafts through the air. Side dishes, spices, plating. Fenris's movements became more refined. Soon, a sumptuous meat dish was placed in front of Uchiha Madara. The plate was 1/2 meter long, and the amount was more than enough for 2 or 3 people. Slip. Madara Uchiha swallowed hard. His taste buds were cheering. Please. Fenris extended its cat paw, gesturing for the cat to proceed. Madara Uchiha picked up a skewer full of grilled meat and started eating it. Tasty. This grilling method perfectly brings out the quality of the meat. Every time I swallowed a mouthful, my whole body felt warm. Seeing Madara Uchiha wolfing down the meat, Fenris smiled. This is the happiness of being a chef. In a short time, Madara Uchiha finished the entire plate of meat dishes and patted his slightly bulging belly. Very good. This was the first time he had ever tasted such delicious food. In terms of cooking skills, Ban would call you the best. Welcome to visit again next time. No need for money. Yuan instructed that he would take care of all your expenses. Page 13. It was only then that Ban remembered he should pay. But since someone is willing to pay for him, he'll just accept it. Madara Uchiha stood up and looked at Aikia. Uncle Ban, just call me Zyro Ari like everyone else. Whoa. He found it hard to bring himself to use such an affectionate nickname. But the other person is a child. It's a child. As a ninja demon, how could he possibly be stumped by this? Zyro Ari, where to next? Just as he forced himself to say it, Madara Uchiha couldn't help but turn his head away from Kyo Ari's expression. Laughter. Brother, now I know why you said Uncle Ban is quite cute. Laughed. She must have been laughing. Madara Uchiha forced his head back, his usually cold and aloof expression almost crumbling. Master Spot. At this moment, Lan spoke up, and Madara naturally turned his attention to her. The name of the Shura of the ninja world resounds throughout the ninja world. Isley and I are the heads of the security department, and we have an obligation to protect the entire village. Would you be willing to conduct a training exercise with us? Oh. Was it arranged by him? Considering the 2 secret techniques, flowing technique sealing and form transformation into 4 states, Madara Uchiha roughly guessed Kyogen's intentions. Guiding the battle. Consider it payment for this meal. Can. It's a good opportunity to stretch my muscles. After some time, Madara Uchiha, Arikyo, Isri, and Lan arrived at a vast training ground. Lord Ban, this is where the police officers of the Security Bureau conduct their daily drills. I hope you can take it easy. Repairing the site is a bit of a hassle. Uchiha Dalmata nodded in agreement, then revealed an expectant expression. Both of them in front of me must be able to use secret techniques. Let's get started. He couldn't wait for a thrilling hand-to-hand combat battle. At this moment, Arikia had already hidden in a corner. Her combat ability is not even that of a genin. She only knows a little about chakra activation to use her body to leap across rooftops. Getting too close could easily result in accidental injury and also affect the performance of the 3 players. It's fine to just watch from a distance. Come. As soon as Madara finished speaking, a light blue chakra cloak immediately enveloped Isri and Lan. Madara Uchiha activated his Crimson 3-Tomo Sharingan and after careful observation, found 9 star gates hidden within the 2 individuals, each storing dense chakra. If their aptitude is average, then the 2 of them have been cultivating the flowing technique seal for at least 10 years. Does that mean that Jen created this secret technique when he was only 5 or 6 years old? Is it possible? Forget it. Let's just test the power of this secret technique directly. Based on their current chakra levels, they are stronger than most of the Jonin in Konoha. P.S. They each have about 3 times the amount of chakra, about the amount of 3 Kakashis. Wearing a blue robe, Madara Uchiha appeared in front of the middle-aged man, Izri, in a flash. His right hand, clad in a boxing glove, swiftly lashed out. So fast. Even if you sense movement through ripples, your body still has a hard time keeping up. Is this the legendary speed of a ninja? The next moment, Izri's chakra cloak underwent a noticeable deformation, becoming incredibly smooth. Viscous state. Oh. A dull thud sounded. Madara Uchiha felt as if his fist had hit a soft, yet resilient wall, with most of the force being released into the air. Interesting. At that moment, Izli staggered back a step due to the strong impact, but quickly regained his balance. Rigid state. The chakra cloak covering his right fist quickly transformed into a steel-like, angular shape, slamming directly into Madara Uchiha's chest. Pale blue chakra emanated from Madara's chest, and the smooth chakra directly blocked the fist. His body fell backward from the impact, but he easily landed on the ground after a mid-air spin. That's it. Madara Uchiha looked at Lan in front of him with some excitement. He underestimated the secret technique of transformation into 4 forms. This secret technique needs to be combined with flowing magic seal to achieve its maximum effect. By using the flowing technique to seal chakra, the chakra is condensed into an outer garment that is worn around the body. The rate at which chakra was being consumed decreased rapidly, and the resulting chakra cloak was just the right amount to use the form transformation into 4 forms secret technique. Therefore, the opponent blocked his heavy punch at a very low cost. You should know that his punches are something that ordinary ninjas can't withstand. Interesting. So funny. How many more surprises can that boy give him? At this moment, in his office, Kyugen excitedly watched as Uchiha Madara's favorability rating increased slightly again, almost reaching the 70 mark. Give it another try. It's not a dream to snatch Madara away from Hashirama Senju. Chapter 11, The Ninjas of Hatsuga Village. It was Kyugen who instructed Izri and Lan to request Madara to conduct the training battle. In his plan to make Banai willingly settle in Churi village, firstly, the living environment must be comfortable for him. As for food, Kiyoari took Madara to the cat paw diner. Secondly, Churi village must have sufficient value. This is why Kyugen practically gave away the information to Madara, and also directly sent out the secret technique that he and his subordinates had painstakingly developed. This training exercise had the purpose of demonstrating secret techniques. Lord Madara, please be careful. Izli roared, showing no intention of holding back. Bring it on. Madara Uchiha wanted to see for himself what Kyugen was planning to show him. At that moment, more than a dozen fine needles fell from Izli's long sleeves. These senbon were wrapped in a viscous chakra cloak, as if they were solidified within it. Rigid state addition, 1,000 needles. With a flick of his sleeve, Izri used the power of his body rotation and chakra activation to throw the senbon from his sticky sleeve at Uchiha Madara. The moment senbon left the chakra cloak, a needle-like rigid cloak enveloped it. A sharp whistling sound rang out. Madara Uchiha's crimson 3-tomo sharing and spun, and he instantly left the spot. More than 10 stalks of sage were stuck directly into the soil, leaving more than 10 dark holes. The added rigidity of the chakra greatly increases its power. Page 14. These senbon needles don't seem to be made of chakra metal. In other words, attaching rigidity to a weapon does not require chakra metal, with excellent chakra conduction. The next moment, the crimson Sharingan noticed Lan pointing her palm at it. Ripple state, illusion, upside-down world. Boom! The scene before Madara Uchiha's eyes blurred. The world turned upside down. Now he was standing on the sky, and above the ground, everything was reversed. Illusion. Snort. Untie. Madara Uchiha immediately controlled the rampage of his chakra, and the scene before him returned to normal. How did you make him fall under the illusion spell? Sight. Hearing. Wrong. Madara Uchiha immediately recalled the description of ripple state in the Book of Secret Techniques. Using the ripple form requires a strong ability to control chakra. As the name suggests, it involves spreading chakra around the body in the form of ripples. The stronger the control, the more chakra one possesses, and the wider the range of its spread. Within this range, anything detected by the chakra ripples will be known to the user. Furthermore, users can extend the time that chakra remains in the air by using these ripples. It uses chakra ripples as the medium for casting illusions. It is even more difficult to guard against than the five senses. Next time, he won't deliberately fall for illusions again. The Crimson Three-Tomo sharing and scanned the surroundings, but all it could see was Kia Eye standing in the corner of the training ground. No chakra. Is it a hidden state? Madara Uchiha couldn't help but laugh. They can even hide the Sharingan with its 3-tomo. The Stargate is activated using a special method to minimize the activity of chakra, achieving an effect that cannot be detected by techniques that sense chakra. With the addition of a ninja's shape-shifting technique, it can deceive the perception of most people. However, knowing the principle of hidden states makes it easy to counter them. Break it with force. Madara Uchiha crossed his arms in front of his waist, and a large amount of chakra enveloped his entire body. Ripple state, chakra storm. The pale blue chakra expanded outwards like a sweeping storm, crashing against the surrounding area like waves. The Sharingan quickly caught the fleeting chakra reaction. Shuriken. The Uchiha clan's shuriken throwing technique sent the shuriken curving through the air before accurately piercing a rock and a large tree in the training ground. The next second, Izly and Lan appeared next to the rock and the tree trunk respectively. Two shurikens sliced through the hair near their ears. Such a violent chakra storm, so brutally disrupting their restrained chakra, meant that Madara Uchiha's chakra reserves were definitely far greater than the two of them. That's truly terrifying strength. Come on. Let's continue. Madara Uchiha beckoned to the two of them expectantly. He also wanted to know more about the practical applications of these two secret techniques. Izly and Lan looked at each other and nodded. The basic demonstrations have been sufficient. It's time to showcase the fruits of their labor. Izly leaped forward and arrived in front of Lan. His hands emerged from his long sleeves, and gleaming silver knives were already on. At the same time, Lan, who was behind Izly, took out two chain blades from his sleeve. The long, silver-white whip was inlaid with shuriken-shaped blades, making it look terrifying. If this kind of weapon were to hit a person, it would probably cause serious injuries. On! Izly rushed out with a serious expression, a tuft of white hair on his forehead blowing in the wind. The two fist blades in his hands were quickly covered with a layer of hardened material, and the ferocious blades were like the claws of a wild beast, revealing their sharpness to the enemy. Good timing. Madara Uchiha charged forward bare-handed, his chakra condensing into the shape of blades in his hands. Although using form transformation into 4 forms would consume significantly more energy without flowing technique seal, with his abundant stamina, form transformation into 4 forms could still be used as a regular method even without flowing technique seal. Clang! The two people's pale blue, hard chakra clashed, producing a metallic clang. As expected of Lord Madara, he can condense such a strong state with his own chakra. Beads of sweat appeared on Isley's forehead. According to Lord Yuan, the other party only spent one night learning about it. Is this level of skill due to the inherent talent of the ninja world's Shura, or is it due to the Sharingan's ability to replicate? The Uchiha clan, who inherited the Sage's Eye, are born with Yin release chakra and the copy eye, which can copy the changes in chakra within others, making them naturally suited to learn Yin release type secret techniques. And this is especially true for powerful figures like Madara, who can see through their hidden forms. Come, make me happier. Madara Uchiha's eyes widened, his smile arrogant. He was eager to witness more novel fighting styles. This Madara-sama's personality is just like what Genji described. Izri looked at Madara Uchiha, who had a joyful expression on his face and felt complicated inside. Ninjas with little talent like them, who forcibly built up their chakra through the flowing technique ceiling, could not even make this legendary ninja seriously compete. That's a bit discouraging. Wu Tilda. At this moment, black lines appeared on Isley's skin, which was hidden under his clothes. These patterns connect to form 9 interconnected star patterns. They're serious now. With the Sharingan activated, the 9 star gates within Isri's body unleashed a powerful surge of chakra, instantly flooding his entire body. The total amount of chakra increased to 3 times the original amount. By increasing the amount of chakra in the stargate, one's combat power can be multiplied. However, it will take a lot of time and food to replenish itself and fill these stargates. Madara-sama, let me show you the strength of the Hatsuhimura Jonin. Chapter 12, A Heart in Turmoil. Today is Children's Day, so an extra chapter is added. Physical techniques, hardened stance, fierce tiger claw. The rigid chakra covering the fist blade was significantly enhanced, and the powerful cutting force directly cut Madara's rigid chakra blade into pieces. The remaining force left 6 deep, long claw marks and furrows on the hard lowest surface. This attack power is even stronger than that of a regular rank ninjutsu. Physical technique, hard state tiger raw strike. Taking advantage of the fact that Madara Uchiha had not yet condensed his chakra blade, Izri attacked his opponent using taijutsu imitating tiger roaring in the forest. Strength is sufficient, but dexterity is lacking. Madara's crimson 3-tomo, Sharingan, emitted a captivating and oppressive force. He could observe the flow of chakra and physical techniques within Isley's body. Crack! Just as Izri extended his claws, Madara Uchiha swiftly pressed down on his elbow. The force was blocked by the joint lock, and the excessive power caused Isley's bones to groan. Oh, pure. Page 15. With a kick as swift as lightning, Isley was sent flying far away, crashing into a distant rock. Just as Madara Uchiha had not yet retracted his movements, 2 chain blades lashed out like long snakes. The flow of chakra is strange. Madara Uchiha's Sharingan clearly saw the extremely faint chakra ripples in the air. His right hand was shaped like a palm blade, and he used his hardened chakra blade to slash at the chain blade. Chinese letter. The chain blade suddenly changed direction and dodged the chakra blade's attack with a serpentine movement. That's quite capable. Madara simply shook his head and dodged the attack of the 2 chain blades. Even her long hair wasn't damaged. It's not over yet. Open. The shuriken blades on the chain blade suddenly shot out. 10 shuriken wrapped in wind-style chakra slashed toward Madara Uchiha's head at point-blank range. Good guy. Ban's body spun at an incredible speed, his long hair whipping around like a windmill. Clang, 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 clang. A series of sharp, metallic clanging sounds rang out as the shuriken were knocked away, and Madara Uchiha stopped dancing. At this moment, there was a little blood on his face, and his Sharingan had transformed into the shape of a kaleidoscope. With a flick of his metal whip, 10 shurikens flew through the air in an arc before returning to their original positions, ready to continue their fierce attack. Using ripples to alter the trajectory